Hello everyone, Darren here, and today we are taking a look at the Hot Toys VGM040 Batman Arkham Knight Batgirl 6th scale figure. Oh, that's a mouthful. For those of you who are unaware, VGM stands for Video Game Masterpiece, a line of figures from Hot Toys which is focused on games such as the aforementioned Batman Arkham Knight, Marvel's Spider-Man, Cyberpunk 2077, and Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. Where is my Senator Armstrong 6th scale figure, Hot Toys? For this figure, Hot Toys dipped into the downloadable content for Arkham Knight, specifically the Batgirl-centric adventure, A Matter of Family. If you haven't played Arkham Knight, first, what the hell is wrong with you? And second, go do it now because I have been raving about this game for the last 7 years since it came out. Guys, come on, it's a really good game.
Thanks, Dick. I appreciate it.
But a quick recap, A Matter of Family is set between the events of Arkham Origins and Arkham Asylum and stars Batgirl in her prime as she takes on the Joker and Harley Quinn in an abandoned amusement park. It's a short adventure that you can play in under an hour, it looks great, and of course Batgirl is sporting an amazing costume that the creative team at Rocksteady Games designed. Fast forward a few years, and we finally have a perfect replica of Batgirl, courtesy of Hot Toys. Out of the box, you've got a 6th scale figure that is light but absolutely solid thanks to the usual sturdy construction from Hot Toys. A combination of flexible rubber, hard plastic and flowing materials in the cape are there, and as a neat feature, Batgirl's hair is actual hair, or fake strands of the stuff woven into the back of the cowl, adding that extra touch of realism that enhances the figure. And yes, it smells lovely. I'm so lonely. The actual suit design is phenomenal stuff, but it's also one that falls victim to just some of the usual drawbacks of a Hot Toys Batman figure. Believe it or not, but having a figure dressed in head-to-toe rubber doesn't always make them the most posable of toys. Right, Michael? And while that usually means that you'll be stuck with a figure in a museum pose, that's not exactly the case with this Batgirl toy. Tight ratchet joints mean that you can bend her arms and elbows to a comfortable 90-degree angle and keep it there, with the rubber not buckling too much under the pressure. A word of caution though, the rubber does feel thinner in some points, particularly on the shoulder blades, but this was clearly by design and isn't the result of a sloppy casting. You can pose Batgirl, but try not to get too excited when you're working her into an action-packed pose. If you're worried about losing an eye, fret not. The fins and sharper points on the costume have a soft rubber construction, although you'll still want to be careful around the harder plastic of the cowl. And speaking of the cowl, it is fantastic. Looking right at home in the Arkhamverse, it has sharp lines, deadly angles, hockey pads on the ears, and with the realistic hair rooted in the rear of it, you'll be able to twist Batgirl's head into a selection of angles that range from subtle to sweet Stanley, necks aren't meant to bend that way. On the torso, there's a fair amount of articulation as well. A solid ab crunch in both directions shows you just how flexible Batgirl is, while the segmented top half of her costume can also swivel around for some dynamic poses. So what's her articulation like below the waist then? Really damn good. Arkham Batman figures have usually had limited mobility in the leg department, but Batgirl's combination of harder plastic and limbs that are separated from her groin has resulted in her being able to pull off some truly acrobatic moves. Even better, you can easily move her legs into a bent position as there's a wonderfully hidden hinge at the back, while the soft rubber on the boots adds to the durability of these poses. There isn't too much articulation in the feet, but if you have a dynamic stand, you can easily put her in an agile position that evokes her aerial combat skill. Overall, the Hot Toys Batgirl figure doesn't just strike a great pose, it holds it as well. The costume is beautifully crafted and filled with multiple segments, while the paint is a mix of solid blacks, subtle metallic sheens, and tarnished bronze. As for the cape, that has always been a hit or miss aspect of Hot Toys Batman figures. For every great cape, like on the Justice League Tactical Batman, there's a poofy and terrible piece of cloth haphazardly thrown into the mix. I'm looking at you, Christian. But Batgirl, her cape is simply fantastic. It's similar to the Arkham Knight Batman cape, as the exterior has multiple materials, while the interior has more body and a bronze finish. It's not too puffy though, and there are some strong wires inside of it to help sell a windswept look. The highlight for me is the clasp on this cape, a tiny but detailed little accessory that plugs into the collarbone of the costume. It's adorable, and it just adds that little extra detail to the figure that makes it shine. Beyond Batgirl herself, don't expect too much in terms of accessories. You'll get the usual selection of extra hands with Batgirl if you feel like swapping out her fists, such as more open hands, grabby hands for holding onto her accessories, and at least one Bat-Tusi hand for when she uses one of her gadgets. There's also a spare faceplate, which has become the default expression that I use for my personal figure. While the standard Batgirl faceplate is a realistic and stern expression to indicate that serious mode has been activated, the secondary faceplate adds a sly smirk to her character. It's subtle enough, it looks fantastic, the paint on it is spectacular, and it doesn't creep me out like the absolute nightmare fuel that is the Hot Toys Suicide Squad Harley Quinn. I have a mouth, and I must scream. If you want to change faces, that's easy enough. Simply rip Batgirl's head off, use the included tool to pop her mouth off, and stick the new one in. Just be careful here, as I almost lost the magnet in the cowl, but I fixed that with a spot of Loctite. As for the rest of the accessories, nothing out of the ordinary here. There's a pair of gigantic batarangs, the exact same design that Hot Toys has used since the Arkham Asylum days, your regular grapnel launcher, and a floppy cable to swap out the inserted little hooky thing inside of it with. The only new accessory here is Batgirl's hacking device, which she used extensively in the DLC to sabotage the Joker's plans. It is already open, and it has a neat holographic display that comes inserted inside of it. You can remove it if you want, so just be careful that you don't lose it. Overall, I am in love with the Hot Toys Batgirl figure. It has been well worth the wait to get a highly detailed replica of Barbara Gordon's alter ego. Hot Toys never fails to make a good looking 6th scale figure, but when it produces something that's fun to pose and experiment with, there's just something special. I've been sticking her with the rest of the Arkham crew, and she holds her own easily with her presence because she's dynamite in a small package. Even on her own, Batgirl will just grab your attention instantly. She's just that well designed. If you are assembling an Arkham collection, an Arkhamverse if you will, Batgirl is an essential part of the roster and well worth picking up. Just don't leave her too close to your Joker figures. Hey folks, Darren here again. Now, I actually forgot to record this part when I originally read the script I wrote, so let me just throw this in here quick. First of all, thank you for watching, thank you for listening. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I'm hoping to do more of these regularly because I love talking about toys. On that note, if there's something I didn't address in the video with this review and you want to know more about it, please just drop me a comment. I will do my best to answer it for you. Hopefully I can be informative enough so that you can make an educated guess on whether or not you want this figure, even with this bit of extra information. But for the rest of this video, as you can see, I'm just leaving it here with some glamour shots. So once again, thank you for watching, I really appreciate it. And if you feel like it, leave a like and a subscribe. I know it's cliche to say that by now, but that's why I save it right for the end of the video. Thanks guys.